all riled up, him and that girl?
I don't know. But I'll tell you something, Doc. You better not mess around with Nadezer.
Ken Curtis is a name that instantly brings to mind the cheerful, lovable Deputy Festus Hagen from Gunsmoke. For over a decade, he made audiences laugh, charm, and root for his antics in Dodge City. But behind the camera, Ken's life was far more complicated than the bright, musical character he portrayed. Born Curtis Wayne Gates on July 2, 1916, in Lamar, Colorado, he was the youngest of 3 brothers and even had a twin, Chester, whose existence was mostly hidden from the public. His father, Dan Gates, was a farmer-turned-sheriff who won the election in 1926, dramatically changing the course of Curtis's early life. The family moved into an apartment above the Bent County Jail, where young Curtis spent his formative years living literally above prisoners. Every day, he witnessed the strange, sometimes frightening world of lawbreakers. One prisoner, Cedar Jack, became an unforgettable presence, whose voice and tales would later inspire Festus's iconic voice. Curtis also experienced moments of chaos, like when 2 prisoners escaped by sliding down a drainpipe and landing in the family's chicken pen, only to be chased off by his dog. These early experiences, though unusual, left a lasting mark on Curtis, teaching him how quickly control could vanish and shaping the grounded, authentic energy he would later bring to his roles in film and television. Music was another cornerstone of Curtis's upbringing. His household resonated with sounds of fiddle, banjo, and pump organ, as his father, mother, and brothers all played instruments and sang. Curtis picked up the guitar at age 8 while recovering from pneumonia, one of the coldest winters Colorado had seen. Without modern antibiotics or nearby hospitals, young Curtis faced a near-death experience. Yet, confined to his bed, he learned chords and melodies that sparked a lifelong love of music. This early resilience forged a creative spirit that would later define his career. By the time he moved to Los Animas with his family in 1926, he was already cultivating talents that would carry him into adulthood. In high school, he was both a football star and a skilled musician, playing clarinet in the school band while secretly writing folk and cowboy songs. Curtis's early life, defined by both hardship and opportunity, laid the groundwork for the multi-talented performer he would become, combining physical stamina, musical skill, and an ability to convey authenticity on screen and stage. Curtis's teenage years were not easy. The Great Depression hit when he was just 14, and his father's sheriff's salary of $75 a month barely covered the family's needs. Curtis worked on ranches, mending fences, hauling hay, and driving cattle, all while pursuing music and education. He even had to borrow ill-fitting football pads to continue playing, yet he persevered. By 1935, Curtis had saved $200 from ranch work and enrolled at Colorado College, claiming to study medicine. In truth, music had already claimed his heart. He was determined to follow his passion despite financial struggles and societal expectations. Curtis's early exposure to both danger and responsibility, witnessing a shootout involving cattle rustlers when he was 13, for instance, helped shape the toughness and realism that he later brought to lawmen roles in westerns. Even when faced with fear or hardship, he developed a grounded strength, a quality that Hollywood producers would later notice and value. By 1938, Curtis had moved to Los Angeles to pursue singing. Within a few years, he landed a breakthrough opportunity with the Tommy Dorsey Orchestra, stepping in when Frank Sinatra temporarily left the band. It was at this point he adopted the stage name Ken Curtis. He earned $125 a week, a respectable sum at the time, performing in New York venues and learning how to command a stage. His time with Dorsey taught him more than just singing, it instilled discipline, stage presence, and confidence. Even when Sinatra returned, Curtis continued performing, eventually joining the Shep Fields Band. These experiences polished his musical and performance skills, providing a foundation for his later transition into acting. Curtis's stage experience combined with his natural charisma made him a versatile performer capable of singing, acting, and even writing music that resonated with audiences. World War II interrupted Curtis's career, but it also added another dimension to his life story. Enlisting in 1943, he served in Italy, demonstrating bravery that earned him a Bronze Star. Even in the chaos of war, Curtis continued to sing for the troops, using music to lift spirits in dark times. Returning in 1945, he was tougher, wiser, and ready for the entertainment world. Soon after, he performed Tumbling Tumbleweeds on the radio, catching the attention of Columbia Pictures and launching his film career. His first movie, Rhythm Roundup, premiered in September 1945, quickly becoming successful. Curtis continued performing in musical westerns, balancing singing and acting, and even performing dangerous stunts himself, refusing to use doubles. Injuries like a broken arm during filming were common, yet he persevered, demonstrating his dedication to authenticity and craft. Curtis's commitment to doing things himself, even at personal risk, became a hallmark of his professional ethos, earning him respect in Hollywood. Curtis's musical career continued to flourish in parallel with acting. In 1949, he joined the Sons of the Pioneers, replacing lead singer Tim Spencer. His first song with the group, Room Full of Roses, reached the top of the charts and cemented his reputation as a gifted vocalist. He also sang hits like Ghost Riders in the Sky and performed in prestigious venues such as Carnegie Hall. Even while acting on television, Curtis remained closely tied to music, appearing on shows like Have Gun, Will Travel and integrating singing into his performances. Music remained a constant in Curtis's life, a thread connecting his early childhood, stage performances, and screen appearances. It was an inseparable part of his identity and something that fans often overlook due to his acting fame. The 1960s brought Curtis his most famous role, Festus Hagen on Gunsmoke. Debuting in 1962, Festus quickly became a fan favorite due to Curtis's creativity, charm, and improvisation. Curtis based Festus's distinctive accent on Cedar Jack, the prisoner he remembered from childhood, combining hillbilly twang with humor and warmth. Over time, he fought with writers to make Festus funnier and more complex, even scripting some episodes himself. Curtis maintained Festus's persona in public appearances, interviews, and tours, never breaking character. This dedication extended to merchandise, where he earned a significant income but insisted on preserving the integrity of the character. His work ethic and artistic input helped shape Festus into one of the most memorable TV sidekicks of the era. Despite fame, Curtis faced personal and professional conflicts. His marriage to Barbara Ford, daughter of legendary director John Ford, ended in 1964, reportedly straining his Hollywood connections. Allegations from the Ford family, though unproven in court, damaged his reputation and limited opportunities. Financial disputes also arose, including conflicts over royalties and pay disparities on Gunsmoke. In 1987, he refused to return for the TV movie Gunsmoke, Return to Dodge, demanding double pay for his character compared to Amanda Blake's Miss Kitty. These events highlighted Curtis's commitment to fairness and artistic respect but also contributed to tension within Hollywood. Despite challenges, Curtis maintained professionalism, never speaking poorly of colleagues publicly. Health struggles marked Curtis's later years. Years of smoking, wartime injuries, and stunt-related accidents took a toll, affecting his throat and stamina. In 1963, he underwent surgery to prevent permanent vocal damage, resulting in the deep, raspy voice associated with Festus. Even in declining health, he continued acting, voicing Disney characters, and participating in Western-themed projects. His final role in The Yellow Rose in 1983 demonstrated his enduring dedication to storytelling, though the series was short-lived. Curtis's ability to persevere through physical pain, industry setbacks, and personal loss illustrated his resilience and dedication to his craft. Ken Curtis married Tori Erin Connolly in 1966, finding stability in companionship after previous tumultuous relationships. Tori, a widow with 2 children, stayed with him until his death in 1991, providing support through health challenges and the difficulties of Hollywood life. Curtis passed away quietly at 74, leaving behind a legacy defined by musical talent, acting prowess, and a devotion to authentic storytelling. After his death, over 50 unpublished songs were discovered, highlighting his lifelong connection to music. Curtis's ashes were scattered in Colorado, returning him to the landscape that shaped his early life, from living above a jail to discovering his love of song. Ken Curtis's legacy continues to influence westerns, both on screen and off. His portrayal of Festus set a new standard for sidekick characters, funny, human, and deeply relatable. Actors on later shows studied his voice, mannerisms, and approach to character development. Curtis's life demonstrates the intersection of talent, perseverance, and personal struggle, offering a portrait of a man who, while beloved on screen, navigated complex realities behind the scenes. From his musical beginnings to Hollywood success, military heroism, and enduring TV fame, Ken Curtis remains a figure whose story is as compelling as the characters he portrayed. Ken Curtis's early years were far from ordinary. Born Curtis Wayne Gates in 1916 in Lamar, Colorado, he was part of a lively family of 5 children, including a twin brother named Chester. While most people knew him simply as Ken Curtis, his childhood identity was steeped in unique experiences that would shape his later life. Growing up above the Bent County Jail was not only unusual but formative. He lived surrounded by prisoners, hearing their voices, listening to their stories, and absorbing their personalities. Curtis often cited Cedar Jack, one of the more colorful inmates, as an inspiration for Festus's voice. Cedar Jack's wild mannerisms and unique way of speaking were burned into Curtis's memory, later providing authenticity and charm to the character that millions would come to love. Even mundane household tasks took on extraordinary dimensions. Curtis's mother, Nellie, cooked for both her family and the prisoners below. Curtis learned early on that life often involved balancing responsibility, humor, and unpredictability, a lesson that would serve him well in Hollywood. An unforgettable event from Curtis's childhood involved the escape of 2 prisoners who slid down a drain pipe and landed in the family's chicken pen. Curtis's dog, Ted, chased them, unaware that these men were dangerous criminals. Nellie thought Ted was simply attacking the chickens, creating a comical yet chaotic scene. These moments, while amusing in retrospect, left a lasting impression on young Curtis. He witnessed firsthand the sudden collapse of order and the unpredictability of life, lessons that later informed the depth and realism he brought to his characters. Beyond chaos, Curtis's early life was filled with music. His household resonated with melodies from his father's fiddle, his mother's pump organ, and his brother's banjo playing and singing. Music was more than entertainment, it was a way to cope with illness, hardship, and the unpredictability of life. At age 8, while bedridden with pneumonia during one of Colorado's harshest winters, Curtis began learning the guitar. That experience ignited a lifelong passion, teaching him resilience, focus, and creativity, qualities that would become hallmarks of his career. Curtis's teenage years were a delicate balance between survival, sport, and art. The Great Depression struck when he was only 14, and his father's meager salary as sheriff forced the family into a life of constant hard work. Curtis labored on ranches, hauling hay, repairing fences, and managing cattle. Yet, he never abandoned his love for music or ambition for the future. By high school, he was not only a football star, standing 6 feet tall and weighing 185 pounds, but also a talented musician and songwriter. While his teammates focused on sports, Curtis was quietly composing folk and cowboy songs, playing the clarinet in the school band, and performing wherever he could. These early experiences taught him the value of discipline, time management, and versatility, traits that would later allow him to thrive in Hollywood's demanding environment. Curtis's adolescent years also included exposure to danger and life-altering events. At age 13, he witnessed a shootout involving his father and cattle rustlers, hiding behind a barrel as bullets shattered nearby windows. This terrifying encounter left him with vivid memories and recurring nightmares. While some children would have been traumatized and deterred from a law-abiding career, Curtis absorbed lessons in bravery, quick thinking, and observation. This early exposure to the harsh realities of life provided him with a grounded, authentic perspective, a perspective he would later channel into his lawman roles on screen. By 1935, Curtis had saved $200 from ranch work, enough to enroll at Colorado College. Though he claimed to study medicine, music had already captured his imagination. His choice shocked friends and family, who expected him to pursue a conventional career in sports or law. Instead, Curtis followed his passion, a decision that marked the beginning of a lifetime devoted to creativity, performance, and resilience. By 1938, Curtis had set his sights on Los Angeles.